Hello and welcome to the new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at Shadow Magnezone in the Open Great League. This Pokemon was insanely good back in the day and I haven't seen anyone really use it, and so I wanted to give it a try. And we're going to have a team here with Shadow Annihilape, which is a very good core together because Annihilape's weaknesses are Flying type Pokemon, are Fairy type Pokemon, and those are really easy to beat for the Magnezone, while Magnezone doesn't really like to face ground type Pokemon where we have Ice Punch at least for them, Dragon type Pokemon where we also have Ice Punch, but also mainly of course Fighting type Pokemon, which we're going to have the fighter that's gonna be able to beat other Fighting type Pokemon. In theory, because that is one of the issues for this team, I feel like. The weakness to other Annihilapes is quite annoying sometimes, but here we were able to actually catch the move from the Toxapex, which is kind of funny. And we're gonna go for the shield and full farm down afterwards to hopefully deal with the opponent, but they still had some energy stored, I think, on the other Pokemon, which is Hop into the Melamar. That's going to be a bit of a tough first battle here. Superpower is going to connect here, it's going to get us quite low. Like knocks us out basically with all of the energy that we just had. We go for an Ice Wind, knock them out. Well, let's see what it's going to be in the back. It's going to be the Shadow Abomasnow, which is actually great for us. Abomasnow actually a really underrated Pokemon. I was looking a little bit into the meta. This Pokemon is actually quite an interesting one because it has quite a lot of play against the current meta. A lot of Pokemon are very weak to it. But yeah, we're going to be able to win this battle. Next up, we're going to have the Melamar against us again. Hooray! One Pokemon that we really don't want to face. But we're gonna see here the Superpower coming through. We're going to use a shield. They hop onto the Toxapex. That is kind of deja vu from the last time around. The issue here is it's very likely that they're going to have Diggersby in the back, like Toxapex, Diggersby, and the Melamar is kind of a common core idea, at least for the current Open Great League meta. And so the Ruin is coming through. We're going to be able to let the move go through here as well. This is going to be a Sludge Wave, and we could just stay in, I guess. Or we're just gonna leave it and go for the move here. And what do they have in the back? Is going to be the Diggersby. It is going to be the Diggersby. I should have played out a little bit differently, most likely, because I knew what they had in the back. I could have had the Melamar at least aligned against the Magnezone. But the game is still not over, because we still have the potential to win this battle here now with our other Pokemon, especially the Annihilape could be very cool here if we can ramp up some of the attack boost there. We just had to use a shield. I think Scorching Sand kind of does the same amount of damage as like the move from the Melamar would do. And so we're going to be able to go for a charge move here. This is going to allow us to get them very, very low, which is a weird play here as we will swap out. The Dugong is going to be able to take the hit. It's going to be the foul play for sure. And we have to hope that we can fully counter them down or go for the Rage Fist and then hope that the next counter is just enough because of the boost here. Oh, they actually let the move go through again. Now it's Diggersby against us, and we're gonna be able to win no matter if the opponent lost 2 shields left. Good job there. Talonflame is going to be, actually weirdly enough, a not that bad matchup for the Annihilape. If you go for the Rage Fist there, you're actually going to be able to, I think, win the one-shot scenario against Talonflame, even though you are a Fighting type Pokemon against a Flying type Pokemon. It is weird because just the amount of damage that Annihilape does is kind of ridiculous, to the point where this Pokemon is just quite good, I would say. Quite a solid Pokemon to run. 10 out of 10 would recommend to a friend. But as we will see here, we're going to be able to go ahead and go for the Icy Wind against the opponent. Going to be able to get the attack drop onto them as well. And we're going to let the move go through here. As we're going to try to get some energy again with our Annihilape. We can even let the move go through here again as well. Because again, it's barely going to do any damage. It is going to be the Drapion coming through. And now we're going to be able to go for the Rage Fist against the Talonflame. We see already what I mean here. This is going to do a ton of damage against them or get the shield. And we can go for another move to get another shield. I didn't want to risk that. I think I would survive another fast move. I would have been able to survive another fast move there, but I didn't want to risk it. But the amount of times I had Diggersby in the back as the final Pokemon was just very awkward for the Magnezone. So, yeah, is Magnezone still playable? Yes, you can play this Pokemon. I'm not saying that's completely garbage. You cannot play this Pokemon at all. It's not a horrible Pokemon to run, but it's definitely not where it was back in the day. There are still matchups though where you really like to have this Pokemon. There are quite a lot of Fairy types still floating around, especially like a Wigglytuff is kind of coming back up again there as well. So I do think it's a good Pokemon to have, generally speaking. But yeah, like the amount of ground types is just a big problem, and I feel like it might be even a bigger problem to have this Pokemon here in the Go Battle League compared to like the play Pokemon tournaments, because it literally feels like you're going to have like at least 1 or even 2 ground type Pokemon each battle, and that is just a bit too much for Magnezone. But still, there are going to be some funny battles here today. But I don't want to sit here being like, yeah, this Pokemon is the one that you need to build now. This Pokemon is the best Pokemon that you ever want to have for the Open Great League. That would be a lie. Like, this Pokemon has definitely seen better days. And I find kind of sad because I like this Pokemon a lot and I had a lot of fun with Pokemon. But both Pokemon that were good towards, like, with this Pokemon together, for example, Mantine as well as Pelipper, got big nerfs on them, which I feel like hopefully they're gonna get a little bit of a buff again. And as well, like, the meta just shifted towards Pokemon that are really difficult for us to beat with this Pokemon. And all of the Azumarill were in the lead today. I don't know what was wrong with this boy, but it's been literally only in the lead. We're gonna have here now the swap out into our Dugong. We have a ton of energy on our Annihilape. And that's the benefit of having Annihilape. Honestly, Annihilape energy up, it is such a ridiculous monster in the 2-shield scenario. Like, this boy, holy moly, like, this thing, when you have a little bit of a boost on it, can completely destroy your opponents. And so I feel like it's one of the best Pokemon currently to build as well. Like, Annihilape is such a strong Pokemon. But anyway, we're going to see here that we can even go for the full farm down, and now we have 2 Rage Fist stored. You want to go back into your Azumarill? Go for it, go for it. I don't really care too much. And then we have the Drapion here. Drapion. Yeah, I've definitely made a video about this Pokemon though. And so we're going to be able to go ahead and go for the Ice Punch here, which is not going to be enough to knock them out. And that is going to be such an awkward scenario because now we have to hope that somehow we're going to still be able to win against that Azumarill. But luckily, we have the Annihilape, and Annihilape is great at boosting up that attack. First Rage Fist coming through, gonna get the boost. Next Rage Fist coming through, gonna get another boost and get the shield. And now we just have to reach another Rage Fist. And as long as they give us a little bit of energy, we're gonna be fine here. And we should be fine here as long as we have 2 HP left. Do we have 2 HP left? We do, and with this, we're gonna be able to win that battle. And so we're gonna move on to the next opponent, where we're going to have the Talonflame against us in the lead. That is not going to be ideal, but we're going to see the swap out now into the Annihilape from the opponent. Icy Wind is going to now come through against them. That's going to allow us to get the debuff onto them as well, which is going to be great. We're going to be able to, yeah, let the Rage Fist go through. I don't really care too much about this one. And we can go for another move here to get the shield advantage, which is really nice. But then again, they're going to be able to go up for some charge moves against our own Annihilape, which is not ideal. We should let the first move go through though, which I don't think I do here, which is a bit of a mistake. I decided to use a shield immediately. They had -1 here at this one, which I should have kind of more recognized. Now they're neutral. I think a -1 Rage Fist still does a lot of damage, don't get me wrong, but I would have been able to take it and then had a shield still left here at this position. Which would have been cool because now against the Talonflame it's going to be a bit of a tricky matchup. I can try to catch a move, for example. Rage Fist coming through here doing a ton of damage, and they swap out into the Wigglytuff, and now I have still a Rage Fist stored, which is kind of cool. We're gonna be able to go for the Mirror Shot here, which hopefully is enough after the counter damage and the fast move damage here. It is not, but one more fast move is enough. And with this, I'm gonna be able to go for a bait here, which is very likely gonna get the shield because they have to fear the Wild Charge. And B, I can get to another move, but I don't get that in time, but we still have that Rage Fist stored, and we win the CMP tie, and with this, the Talonflame is gonna go down, and we can move on to the next opponent. Annihilape against a Drapion. That is going to be definitely a matchup that is interesting. I'm curious on how to play this like perfectly, because I think it's an okay matchup for the Annihilape. I do think that you actually win this in the 2-shit scenario as an Annihilape guaranteed. Here we try to catch a move, which was an awkward here, which is actually really good for us. As they now have less damage on me, they can go for a little bit more pressure here against the opponent's Dunsparce. They're forced to go for another charge move as well. So that's going to be great. I'm just going to check here real quick the matchup of Drapion against the Annihilape. Annihilape wins this in the 1 and 2 shield scenario guaranteed, which is great to know. So it's a great matchup for the Annihilape to go up against the opponent's Drapion. If it's a non-shadow variant, it is actually going to win in every shield scenario, which is ridiculous as well. So like non-shadow variant there, it's going to be way better as well. So yeah, it's definitely a solid matchup. I think the last time, actually also the shadow version wins in every scenario, just didn't get, I got rid of the close combat in the calculation. So again, like it's going to be actually a solid matchup in the lead. I still just like to have the energy advantage and still shields for the Annihilape for later on. Here we're going to be able to go for a Mirror Shot with our Magnezone, and they decided to use a shield, so I would assume that they're going to have something weak against us in the back. And this is going to be the crunch coming through. We have energy. It is going to be the Wigglytuff, which you most likely saw already before. So Not really a big surprise if you actually paid attention. I was doing calculations, but we're gonna be able to just one-shot them. And so again, like, Magnezone has sometimes some play. I couldn't really believe my eyes there that we saw a Zoroark in the Open Great League. A Pokemon that I actually like a lot, especially the Hisuian form, but sadly they're just not really that great. But as we'll see here, we're gonna have the shield coming up against the Psychic Fangs. The opponent might even be able to align themselves, which would be great for them and not so great for us. But actually, no, never mind. We have 2 Mirror Shots here. We guarantee get the realignment here, which is really nice. Mirror Shot coming through, gonna get the shield, and they decide to use the shield here for no reason because I can get to another move here straight away and knock them out. And so with realignment, we have the Zoroark against our Annihilape, and we're going to have now Dugong against the Wigglytuff, and that is going to be a game because I can use a shield here on Swift, and there is not really a lot that I can mess up here, I think. So, you're gonna get the Ice Wind through, which is totally fine. Let's see on what is going to be happening next. We're gonna be able to go for the full farm down here as well eventually. The Ice Wind is coming through again. And so we're going to be in a position now where this is going to knock them out. They're going to be forced to go for some charge moves eventually. I know that they have like Dark Pulse or something. I think they have Foul Play on it as well. But they have no chance of actually even surviving this Rage Fist here. And so it's going to be a good game. Next up, we're going to now take a look at the next one here. We're going to have a great lead, and we messed it up kind of because I decided to go ahead and go into my Magnezone instead of my Dugong. Dugong would have been the better answer here. Because here, now it depends on what the opponent is going to... Okay, sorry, real-quick. This was the 3rd time just now that the doorbell rang in this video. I cut out the other 2 ones, Lostheart out, as I leave it in for a little bit. But yeah, it depends on what the opponent is going to have in the back and if we can realign ourselves here. I just found it hilarious. By the way, at this point, I use a shield, which might be actually really bad for me if they go for another bait, which they do. Now I'm going to force myself to swap out, so I at least have still alignment later on of like Dunsparce against my Annihilape and whatever. But 3 times the doorbell in one video. I've never had this one before, so yeah. Hopefully still the first 2 times you didn't really notice that much, but it was ridiculous. Anyway, we're gonna take a look here at the battle again. Well, I had to leave the desk 3 times for that. We will have here the Rock Slide coming through against us. We're gonna still survive, and we're gonna be able to put the opponent into a range where I can fully farm him down with the Annihilape. Issue is here that we still have the Amanda Bus, and I hope that I get to the move in time, which I don't. And that is going to be an Aerial Ace, and that's going to be able to get us kind of low. And I go for Charge Move because they have the fast move of Air Slash. And so it's gonna be a bit difficult, but we can still go for the knockout here, and they have the Wigglytuff in the back, and that is perfect. We have here the perfect scenario for the Magnezone to just get the KO against them, and I think the Dunsparce shouldn't have energy anymore, hopefully. Hopefully we see some energy coming in here, and so it's down to if we can survive a rollout with our Dugong, which we can't, but they also can't, and so does a draw. Final battle here. That's the final video on the channel. Now, final battle here, we're going to have the Marowak coming in. By the way, did you see the recent news? I don't know how recent it is when you see the video. Hopefully, I should get this out on the same day, by the way. But apparently, Niantic might sell their game to a different company, which is not really known for being nice to their customers as well. So, like, that's going to be not really a great thing, maybe. But yeah, maybe Pokemon Go gonna get sold. Let me know down below what you would think about it. Do you think it's gonna be better or not? I don't know. I feel like that's the thing as well, where I actually would be more open for them actually selling it. I saw some people being like, oh, it's gonna be the end of Pokemon Go. Well, yes, there might be a bit more leaning towards money, like that company that is trying to buy Pokemon Go currently. I do feel like that the biggest issue for Pokemon Go, at least out of my perspective, is the waste of potential based on not really trying to improve or innovate. And this is something that I have seen for the entire time Niantic has been on it, so I would assume that maybe with a different company things might be a bit better, but we have to really see towards it. We're never gonna know that, so I don't know. What would you think? Do you think it would be better for Niantic to sell this game or not? Let me know down below, while we're gonna lose the final battle here. Magnezone, just too tough currently with the ground types. Wait for a ground type nerf, and this is gonna be it for a video. Hope you enjoy, and I will see you then. Bye bye.